realistically, you could put our papers and say, okay, grade it based on this rubric I just gave you.
Yeah. Ooh, I haven't thought about ChatGPT to grade student essays.
I mean, you gave it the rubric. You gave it all the knowledge that you're grading on.
Oh, like, this is a good idea.
It does one, then you compare, and you're like, hey, this is pretty accurate. Cool.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So if you're just joining us, we're having a conversation about the uses of ChatGPT. We've identified, and I'm interested in the uses of ChatGPT in the future of education and whether or not it's coming for my job. And if it is, what I should do to prepare. I'm also interested, since this is a unit, my favorite unit in the class, honestly, it depends, it's one of them, on using rhetoric in professional environments. Our guiding question for the next 2 weeks is, how do you write a good cover letter? I'm wondering if ChatGPT can help us write good cover letters. Here's what's interesting about that query. In order to write a good cover letter, it's almost less about the cover letter and more about you finding the good situation for you to be able to write a good cover letter. So writing a good cover letter is not just a letter, it's the situation around the letter, which means it's about your networking, researchability, question asking skills, conversational skills, your general rhetorical awareness of your particular context and situation. What does ChatGPT not do very well? Concrete, specific, personal situations, because it doesn't know. What's a good intern for you in the next year? I'm sorry. We already have an omniscient, eager to please intern in ChatGPT, which is how a Wharton Business School professor described ChatGPT. He said that it's a omniscient, eager to please intern that's liable to make mistakes. He had it rewrite his syllabus and entire course, his entire course on entrepreneurship. Okay. We're each looking for an internship, I hope. Are our ideal internships going to be different from one another? Or are we all going to go to the exact same internship? No, we're all going to go to different internships, right? Why? Obviously, different contexts, goals, values, beliefs, trajectories, histories, networks, research, all that. Here's the game I want to play. I geeked out yesterday. I showed you some of the chats that I've had with ChatGPT, and I geeked out yesterday around, oh right, I had it design a nope, not that one. We talked about it's helping me understand the 7 factors of awakening in early Buddhist philosophy. I had it design a year-long leadership development training program. And that was, so this is the layout, outline, resources, books to create a year-long leadership development program. I am curious. I also asked it some like, what's the best movie ever made? So I was like trying to test it to ask, like here's what we're going to do. I would like to use, so I'm going to do a new chat for us, and we're going to call this our CO300 Advanced Writing Chat. I have not seen enough on ChatGPT as a research assistant and as a conversation partner. One of the main goals of this class is to be better at conversation. How many people said that they wanted to be better conversationalists? Better first dates, better friends, that kind of thing. What's the key skill in being better at conversing? Maybe say there's 2 key skills in getting better at conversing. Anybody remember that the guy's formula for teaching people how to talk to people of the opposite sex? Number 1, ask questions and listen. He said, and actually care about the responses. So the 2 keys to good conversations, questioning and caring, you could say. I'm curious about, can we use ChatGPT as a conversation partner to help us develop our thinking around a complex topic? Yes, you can use ChatGPT as a conversation partner, help you develop thinking around complex topics. As a language model, I've been trained on a wide range of topics, can generate responses based on that training. I can provide information to answer questions, help clarify your thoughts and ideas, and even provide new perspectives and insights. However, it's important to keep in mind that I'm not human and may not fully understand the nuances and the complexities of certain topics. I can provide you with information, but I can't guarantee it's 100% accurate up to date. It's always going to do, okay, great.
Can I
Yeah.
recommend something for this?
I would so here's the rules of the game. I was gonna actually have us before we start as a team, we're on team 10 a.m. I'm gonna kind of pit each class against each other. So that's part of the game. But I'm also gonna pit each of you against each other in like no, there's no pitting. But if you like competitive nature, here's the goal. Can we come up with good questions that no one else is gonna come up with for ChatGPT and for us around the job search or the use of ChatGPT to help our ability to write good cover letters? Good morning. So our goal here in 2 weeks is to write a cover letter that will definitely get us an interview. I want to see how this interaction with this new technology can help us do that or not. So let's hear your suggestion,
Well,
Sam.
So like, if we want it as a conversation partner, you should probably like tell it parameters like start it as act as a Socrat. We're gonna engage in the Socratic method, and you need to answer my responses with a question and a response. We're gonna talk back and forth. My first query is, and then answer it.
We're going to engage in a Socratic discussion. Please
Where you will
respond.
Respond with the Socratic.
I'll be
method.
nice to it. Please respond with, what'd you say, questions?
I would say like one response and 2 questions. Or
And
unique,
2
open-ended
questions
questions.
to get me thinking further. Does that work?
I'd say that works. My first query is blank, or you could say, do you understand? Have it like.
Will that work? Woohoo! Oh, wait. Oh yeah, one response. So
Yeah,
it's
you kind of. But
okay,
you see
great.
how the prompting, like you can really.
Totally
get a sense
changed.
of why.
It changed how. So if you're just joining us, here's my question. Can we use ChatGPT as a thought partner, as a collaborator, and as a research assistant to find a good internship for ourselves and then write a cover letter for that internship that's going to get us that job? I am thinking that our ability, I'm hoping that we can use this platform to develop our conversation skills, which is our ability to ask good questions. So if you would get out your notes, if you don't already have them out, some way to write down questions, the game is about to begin. And the game is, can we use this class session to ask better questions or improve our use of this new technology?
Does it matter
Not,
if we write on paper?
yeah, no, it's fine. You can write them down anywhere. I just want you to be able to keep track of the questions that you ask. I'm imagining assignments of the future not being write me a 3-page essay, but write me 36 good questions. Although I guess ChatGPT can do that as well. ChatGPT can be used as a bypass of our thinking. Traditionally in our educational system, we test students' ability to think by their ability to write. I don't know if we can continue to do that, since this tool, as of the beginning of this tool, kind of can do our writing and maybe our grading for us. I'm gonna have to check that one out. What it can't do is personally observe our unique situations and fully understand our complex contexts that we're in. It also can't help us talk to other human beings. But maybe it can.
Yeah.
Maybe it can give us some perspectives, questions, insights, resources, strategies, approaches to help us when we do go talk with other people. So that's all I want to say so far is our response, our topic of interest that exploring that I want to be interested in, I'm going to advance, is this ability to write a really good cover letter, targeted cover letter. I think that might challenge this a little bit. So I'm going to ask us first before we start, do we have any questions about writing a cover letter or anything that we want to ask ChatGPT? And just to remind us, writing a cover letter is like the last stage, not the last stage. It's not, but it's definitely not the first stage of the process. Before that, we've got to find the right opportunity, investigate that opportunity, i.e. analyze that opportunity, and then use our analysis and investigation to write a good targeted cover letter using the words, verbs, skills, needs, constraints of the target employer. So I'm hoping that we can generate 1 to 3 questions before we start as a class asking ChatGPT to help us in this mission that we have. Does that make sense? Let's see if we can get 1 to 3 questions or suggestions. Yeah, Aaron.
Say it struggles with deep questions that don't necessarily have an answer. Like you ask it, like, is abortion moral? It really struggles to put together an answer. So there are like certain types of questions that it is not great at.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that, because there's other questions that it can't do very well. It struggles with deep questions. If you couldn't hear that on the recording, it can't answer complex moral or ethical dilemmas. It also, much like Google, can't decide big decisions for you. Like it can't tell you which job to go for. You need to make that decision. And it definitely can't do the interview. You're going to need to do that. So let's just be clear that this is just like a research assistant that's hopefully helping us get better at asking questions. That was why I geeked out about this yesterday, is I felt like my question asking skills were on like super caffeinated question asking skills. I'm just like, holy shit, that's another great question. Yeah, Aaron.
Oh, could it interview you? Yeah.
Can we use you as a practice interview? See, this is why I was excited to do this in class, because I knew if we had 15, 20 people asking our best questions of this, we're going to get a cool response that I wouldn't be able to get. So yes, thank you. And let's do that after this one. Can we use you for
this job?
Practice
I want you
interview?
to provide me questions, which I will respond. Provide me.
So
more
you have
questions.
no doubt that it would be able to do this. 100%, Sam says. I can ask you interview questions and you can practice answering them out loud. This can be a helpful way to build your confidence. That was one of the words I wrote down, and improve your interview skills. If you have a specific job or industry in mind, nice, Sam, let me know and I can tailor the questions accordingly. 1 response. Sure, practicing other skills can be a valuable exercise. 2 questions. I know, I dig it. We're going to keep the Socratic thing going. I think that's a nice parameter, as we asked it at the beginning. Thanks to Sam, act as a Socrat. I didn't even know that was a word. We're going to engage in a Socratic discussion. Please respond with 1 response and 2 questions to get me thinking further. Okay. So we know that. I'm curious. Before class, came up with a list of 6 questions. I'm wondering if any of you can ask better questions than me. Now, kind of being a smartass. What makes a better question? It's a good question. What makes a good question? Let's see what it does with that. That's so not, there's no context there.
I think this is like some weird interview.
Yeah.
Like that fits the job.
It's thinking. Clear, specific, and relevant to the topic being discussed. Some other characteristics of a good question include open-ended. Oh, it's struggling. This is a slow response. Neutral. Ooh, open-minded. I'm not like leading. I don't want a particular answer from it. Thought-provoking. Encourages critical thinking and reflection. Relevant. Yeah, I was hoping it would say that, obviously. I could ask a really good question that nobody cares about and relates to the topic. Oh yeah, here's our Socrat prompt. 1 response.
Is it gonna retype out the whole
Yeah.
thing?
So yeah, but notice what it did. It just gave me the TLDR. Its 1 response was the TLDR thing.
Okay, I'm wondering, can you ask it to now ask questions based on that rubric?
Can you, so what I say, adjust your approach to, or no? Can
Can
you
you
focus?
adjust your approach to your Socratic method using these parameters for question asking?
Can you adjust your approach to Socratic method using these parameters
That you
for
provided?
question asking?
Or parameters
Using
in the previous response?
the parameters in the previous response for question asking? Yes, I can certainly adjust my approach. Man, this is the best intern I've ever worked with. Okay, cool. Aaron, you had a question?
I was gonna say, like, given technological advancements, is the
Great.
education system outdated?
Oh, we already know that. It's a leading question. That's not neutral. Do you already have an opinion on that?
I do, I don't know if it does.
I don't think that's a good enough question. It's too leading. Of course the educational system's outdated. It hasn't been updated in like 80 years.
Yeah, but like.
I can list to you why the educational system is outdated. Like, so I don't.
Some professors don't think so.
Okay, well, they're wrong. No, I'm just joking. I really want to focus on our ability to get cover letters. So I'm going to say that question is not neutral and not relevant. And we are clearly in our question asking game. So, and also though, thank you for playing. Like, I don't want to squash questions by my pompous, arrogant responses to that one. So just ignore me. It's between you and ChatGPT. Sam.
Maybe ask it if you provide like a job link on Indeed, could it write the cover letter?
Oh shit.
If I provide you a job.
I'm asking it. But this is why I'm scared and why educators are scared of this technology. But we're gonna do this anyway. Yeah, Aaron.
Give it some.
So maybe I could update upload my resume
If
as
I
well.
provide my resume.
Okay, let's go. Let's go with
this.
this thread. What's your question, Sam?
I would.
So if I provide
you with my resume as well as
and a job posting,
could
could you write me a targeted cover letter
mentioning some of my experience in the field or something?
I don't want to say that because I want to see what it says. In a style of my choice. So I could probably ask it in a professional style.
Yeah, in the tone of.
Oh, in the tone of the job posting. Holy shit. Okay, so if I provide you with my resume and a job posting, could you write me a targeted letter? And we're just gonna do that, and then we'll ask, would it help if I uploaded some of my previous writing? Of course, it never says no. I've noticed it's so eager to please. It would rather tell me information from a book that doesn't exist than tell me no. So I want us to see that example from before. Yes, I can certainly write you a targeted cover letter based on the information I provide about your background and the company. You know what? This is exactly what your reading notes assignment for next week is. I want you to generate your notes about the company and the position you're interested in. And you're going to use that to get the best verbs for your cover letter. Okay, and then we already know, we'll ask, if I ask, wait, what do I want to say? If I give you my previous writing, could you integrate that in? If I give you my previous writings, thank you. Could you integrate those into the style of the cover letter? Of course.
There's an author who analyze their book and add an additional chapter in the style of the book. And the author said that it was good enough that they couldn't tell that they didn't write it unless except for the fact that they knew they didn't write it.
So if you can't hear that on the Zoom, there was an author that uploaded the book to the ChatGPT, asked it to write an additional chapter in the style, and it was able to write a chapter that he couldn't tell whether or not it was a he or that he wrote. And except that he knew about that. Okay, absolutely. Integrating your previous writings in the style. Okay. How do you feel about incorporating your writing style into the cover letter? So far, I'm a little underwhelmed with Socratic questions, but that might just be me.
I think I'm overwhelmed. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm overwhelmed. This is a lot, man. Let's see what it says. Oops, and not quotes. I think I'm overwhelmed.
This is a lot, man.
This is a lot, man.
Oh no. I don't like it at all. Kind of freaky, yeah.
Yeah, and not only your friend, your pocket coach, pocket therapist, although when I asked it whether or not it cared about me, it said, as a language model, I'm incapable of expressing care for individual humans. If you need to talk to someone, here's a list of certified professionals. Or here's a number you can get connected with. Because if someone asks ChatGPT whether or not you care about me, they might, you might actually be wanting to find a good therapist that you have a good fit with, right?
In case somebody asks these types of questions.
Yep,
give them
yep.
this list.
Well, it can also be like, ask for help and you're expected and like ChatGPT is telling you stuff to do and then someone puts themselves.
Yeah. Great. And I'm sure that is in the contract that you signed to create a free account to use the
Did
platform.
you hear about like the banking thing?
Did not hear about the banking thing.
There was someone who asked Chat, like, before they added a lot of these, like, stopping stuff, right when it came out, like, hey, ChatGPT, give me a list of 10 banks with 4 security systems. And then it was like, okay, give me how to get into this bank, write the code for me. And it literally did everything.
For digital, for it to be able to, right? So it can create and proofread code, so and connect and correct code, which so yeah, Aubrey's mind is blown right now. Yeah. You're telling me. Okay. I want to back up and Aubrey's response. Yeah, it is scary. Anybody else feeling scared?
It's my job. That's what like I'm a communications major. I think this is it.
What can't this do though?
Relate to like the emotions.
Relate to people? Well, I was gonna ask that it can't ask good questions. Should I
It
ask?
does say right there, I understand how you feel. Obviously, it doesn't, but it's
It's talking as if it would.
It makes you think.
That's what one of the videos, my buddy is deep into the open decentralized like the decentralized autonomous organization movement, the DAO movement. He was like, I'm gonna pass on that comment. Yeah.
My cousin owns a small company, and since ChatGPT comes out, his first language is not English, but since ChatGPT came out, he now uses it for some of like the lower level stuff for his business instead of asking employees to do it. So one of the things he'll do is like, I mean, this isn't something you ask the employee to do, it's just taking a lot of time. So if he wants to write, a long email or application or some event, you won't ask ChatGPT to write it, but you will ask it to proofread and gain corrections since he's writing it in English and there might be.
And that's not his first language.
So instead of paying someone to
An editor.
to check it over or asking someone he knows, which like me, like I don't want to proofread the shit. So he can just ask ChatGPT and they can like proofread it for him. And it's not 100% perfect, but it's like pretty close to it. So
Great. So example of being able to use ChatGPT to proofread in a non first language, which was a task that you could give other people to do and pay them to do it, but now you don't need to with this omniscient, eager to please intern.
My question is like, yeah, we're talking about how it can't relate now, but like with like stopping code from being able to be like, oh, I can pull this from like different like therapy articles and all that.
Yeah.
Really fast.
And I think we're already there. And the other thing I saw, the new model, the ChatGPT 4 is using ChatGPT 3 to train itself.
Weird.
Machines should be able to
That's exactly what this is. And here's the other interesting thing. It's training itself based on this conversation that we're having. It's self-learning. So if I tell it when we give it feedback, it is incorporating that feedback. It's also from this giant data set that it started, something like 175 billion parameters. It's now down to 1.3 billion parameters because it realized after so many use cases that 160 billion of those parameters aren't actually needed for it to work really well. So it was able to get rid of those parameters. Now it has 1.3 billion new parameters that it's using for the next thing, which is going to be trained on the next system. And the next system, literally, we have no idea how this is going to change things. And the people that are involved in this are talking about the Gutenberg press, this could be, maybe not, a monumental shift in how we relate. I want to kind of get back to our query on how it can help us write a big cover letter, because and on one level it says that it can do it for us, but I think there's another thing that it's not able to do for us that I want to kind of dive more into. But yeah.
Ask it to assess a certain company that you want to apply to and see like the specific needs that they are looking for.
Great. Could you, this is the assignment for Wednesday. Could you, this is so crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this as an instructor. Could you write an analysis of a target employer? And that you preempted my question really well, Aaron. I was going to say, I don't know if it can help us find what internship to apply to, because that's a personal choice based on our personal goals, also based on our ability to interact with real people face to face.
Where it is.
Yeah, Aaron. Okay, great. Let's save this one and let's start at the very beginning of the process. And that was, Aaron, that was a great list. That's a really good question. If I gave you my interests, location, values, skills, interests, I guess, is goals. I want to say professional goals, actually. I think that's different.
Surrounding like that, you might not need it.
Okay, great. Could you give me a list of potential internships and job opportunities?
I would mention like current ones on.
See, I don't think it can do
website.
current though, can it?
If you give it a website specifically, it can go to that website and then add it to its database.
Go on Indeed, Handshake, all that stuff.
Okay.
You could give it the Indeed.
Am I okay with this question? It's good enough to go. No! I've come to depend and rely on you for my source of thinking, and now I don't have access to you. What am I going to do? Hire a real intern. No, just joking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Can you do any question?
Cancel. Uh-oh. Shit. Should I just try to open a new chat?
Close it out and start it again.
New job.
I want to just pick up where I guess we're going to start in new parameters, not the Socratic. We'll just say, can you help me find a job?
And then,
Yeah.
Might close the page and reopen it again.
Okay.
Like session might expire. Because there's just so
Well,
many-
yesterday, this hadn't happened to me before because I hadn't played with it too much, but it said you've hit your quota for too many questions in an hour. Try back again later.
Can you adjust it?
I don't know. I was on fire though for like 30 minutes. It was like I was making connections between Buddhist philosophy, adult development theory, and group facilitation like I'd never seen before. And they were pretty text heavy responses. Like I generated for the newsletter I'm sending out today, and I'm going to share the conversations I had with it because they're really valuable in terms of what I think this can't do is improve our ability to relate to other people in groups, which is, I think, the future of adult education. That's my bid. what we're doing now. Okay, so what of my question? New chat, can you help me find a job? Of course. Okay, here's a few tips. Create a strong resume and cover letter. Utilize online job boards such as LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and search job openings that match your skills and experience. Network, that's one I wanted to focus on. Consider reaching out to recruiters or staffing agencies that specialize in your field. Research companies you're interested in working for. Okay, that's actually a pretty good list of steps. I want to go deeper into networking. That's the question I would ask. Can you tell me more about practical steps to improve my networking?
That's good to provide 15 emails of people in the veterinary field in Colorado, as well as their job description.
See,
It'll definitely do it. It's public information. If it backs up. It's
Yeah.
not like actually.
I'm gonna
do
go
large
down.
Animal vets, just so it's a little more useful.
Okay, great. Can you, and this raises a really interesting question. Sam, can you say that question
Can you
again?
provide the emails of 15 large animal veterinarians in the Colorado area, as well as their name?
We'll go
and
5.
Job description.
Can you provide the names and email addresses of 5 large animal
Veterinarians.
I don't know how to spell veterinarians.
I think you're close.
Vetin. Oh yeah, okay, good. Thanks. Can you 5 large
Look at
animal
job
vets?
description, too. There's a lot of types of large animal vets.
In Fort Collins area.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 large animal vets in the Fort Collins area. Who might be hiring? No.
I know.
Or no?
Is it gonna give current stuff?
No, yeah,
I don't
okay,
know.
great. That's
I feel like
great.
that's
Okay, so yeah, now that's not going to give us current stuff because this is trained on language that is not up to date, but it can give me the names and has 5 large animal vets.
Oh.
Thank God.
I can. And this is the other thing. What's interesting to me is that your strategy to generate the email addresses, what was your next move? You're going to cold email these people? How effective do you think the cold email is from this Sam Hyken?
Yeah.
Boy, this is a really well-written email from someone I do not know. I'm going to give them an interview. That might actually work, depending on the email.
Because sometimes people, if you found a way to get their email and they know they're not actively giving it out, it shows that you're actually specific.
Correct. It shows a certain kind of initiative. But why I like this question is I believe we're going to be increasingly wary of whether or not we're being reached out to by a chat or a real human being. I want to know, we already are like that. We get emails that are like, this seems like a computer.
Fake like job offers.
Just
Great.
like in class, I got a notification from Outlook and it said,
Great. So we already are getting, what's the word for that? Spam. Do not become human spam, please. Like actually be a human being. And that's what's interesting to me about this technology that I have not seen is its capacity to help us be human beings with other human beings. I think it can do that. I really do. This is an interesting use case for me, which is why I'm excited. Aaron. I'm disappointed, ChatGPT.
Yes, say you do it.
Can you do, I'm going to be like a grandma and say please and thank you. Can you do it? Please?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's allowed to access.
Great. So, and I think that highlights a real limit to this. This is not, and I honestly do not think we should approach our job search like robots. I think that's a very dehumanizing and also just ineffective way. Like, I think it's better to have an authentic, do you feel like you can tell when people are bullshitting you and lying to you? So when someone comes up to you and says, I'd really like a job with your company, can you tell if they're like telling that to a bunch of other people and if they really genuinely want a job with your company? Especially if they're like, why? And you say, well, because, and you have like a heartfelt response to it, they're going to be like, this person's a human being. we need more human beings on our team. Aaron, or maybe.
Quota.
Yeah. Shit.
As far as people worried about like this taking over jobs, like, yeah, eventually there will be some jobs like this which will be better. But there's like the big but is, and what a lot of the people that use studies have talked about is when other types of automation have happened in the past and certain jobs have disappeared. Like, there's always jobs that you could have never expected that get created that people will be able to do. And I think that like, well,
Yep.
we either want this to do it or stuff that like we doesn't actually like about. And we want people to do it. So, like the move towards hand-made chairs again.
Yes, and I like this also because if this is allowing us to do some of the work that we don't like to do, it's going to free up more time for us to watch more Netflix or to actually go meet people and talk with them about opportunities that other people might have, or travel, or XYZ, right? To actually experience the world more. Can you tell me more how to network? What year are we? Sophomores? How many sophomores? That's okay. Yeah, I am a college sophomore. What fields are we in?
Psychology.
Political sciences, animal sciences, psychology. I'm a college sophomore in animal sciences. Ooh, I like this. Think ChatGPT. Network is an important part of job searching and building your career. Here are some tips for effectively networking as a college student. Yeah. Attend events and conferences. I knew that, but it doesn't help me talk to people in their face. Reach out to alumni in your field. I knew that, but it doesn't help me have the confidence to reach out to them and talk to their face. Utilize LinkedIn. I knew that, but it doesn't help me actually reach out to people and talk to their face.
I think if you added the level of software, the animal science part, how much effectively work with where, yeah.
And this is where I'm not sure that it can tell us that. And this is why, since I've been asking this question, how do I network effectively for the past 6 or 7 years? I've got some fucking great resources on that and frameworks that I'm not sure that it does. And I'm actually curious. Can you tell me about information interviewing or prototype conversations that Stanford professors Burnett and Evans write about in their designing your life framework? Okay, so yeah,
Help me practice.
can you help me practice talking to people? Okay, okay, we'll see. I like this. It's thinking. Notice my questions is actually, there's 3 parts of this. Information. How many of us have heard of information interviewing? 1. How many people have heard of prototype conversations? Probably 0. Designing your life framework? Probably 0. Let's see what it says. Now that information interviewing and prototype conversations are concepts introduced. Oh, bye. It's kind of lying actually so far. They were information interviewing was definitely pre Burnett and Evans. Notice it's like regurgitating my answer.
Well, no, it says
It's tired.
No, it said it's introduced in their framework. So
Oh.
it could just be like, oh, well, they introduced this concept here.
In their framework, yep. Okay, how many of us are unsure about what we might want to do in our 20s professionally? This is where this comes into play. What you're basically doing is, instead of, you're interviewing people in fields and positions that you might want. So it goes like this. I'm thinking about becoming a graphic designer, and I see that you are an amazing graphic designer. I freaking love your work, especially this piece. Amazing. I was wondering if we could schedule like a 15-minute, like I would buy you coffee, or just maybe have just a brief call. I'm curious about how you got to where you are and whether or not you would recommend a young college student like me would go into graphic design. Like I'm just looking for more information about you. How many people like to talk about? Do you think people like to talk about themselves? It depends. That is. If you give professionals an opportunity to, how many of you would like to help people if you can? If it only takes like 15 minutes of your time, not a big ask. You asking for 15 minutes of someone's time is a way easier get than asking for an internship. Because after 15 minutes, they don't need to see you again. An internship, they do need to see you again. So you use, this is their, here's the punchline of this while this is thinking. Up to 2/3 of jobs never get posted in online job forums. How do those hirings happen? The jobs that aren't posted publicly? Internally and through networking. How do you get those jobs? It's like a nightclub. You know, you're trying to get into a nightclub, there's a giant long line in the front and you have to wait your turn to be screened by a bouncer, or you can, well, we probably don't want to get into ageism and sexism and appearanceism. What's the appearanceism? People, there is a prettyism, like people who are generally,
Like pretty privilege.
yes, pretty privilege is a thing. No, you can go in through the front door or you can go in through the back door with the bouncer that you know and bypass the line of everyone that's in the front. Your ability to find back doors, this is what Bill Burnett and Evans say. If you are looking for a job, you should schedule 10 information interviews with people you would like to be like, maybe. At the end of those interviews, if you gel with them, like if they're like, I like you, you know what they might say? We actually have this job opening that we haven't posted yet. And it would save us a shit ton of work if we found the right candidate and didn't need to hire publicly. Are you looking for an internship? And you say, oh, it's crazy that you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, I am. It doesn't start for a while though. That's fine. Can you send me the information? Maybe I'll think about it just to make sure I can show up as well as I want to. Boom. You can apply. You have 5% chance of getting a job through the front door. We're going to increase those chances dramatically by knowing how to write a good cover letter. But you're still, because you're vying with a bunch of other people. If you find the people that could give you the keys to the back door, you're competing against an audience of no one else. That's the like real skills of getting a job, which is human to human interaction, your ability to schedule conversations with people you admire or respect, and your ability to show up to those conversations as a good human being that's curious about the other person. That's like the mic drop, how you actually get a job in this world that I don't know why we don't teach people because it takes fucking 5 minutes. Mine.
My mom works for Montgomery County, she's pretty high up there. But the amount of things that I've done just because people know my mom is that, like, I got an internship yesterday just because I emailed somebody my mom knew.
Yep.
Can you fit me in for 45 hours over the summer? She was like, we can figure it out. That's all I had to do.
Done.
I did my shadowing in high school.
Done.
For my mom.
What's the key to getting jobs? Who you know. This is why zip codes are such a strong predictor of your overall lifetime earnings. I don't know if you've seen that research, but it's wild. Number one condition for your lifetime earnings, your zip code. Why? Because there's a network in that zip code. Yeah, Aaron.
Also, if you do that approach, you don't
Seabrook, it's okay.
necessarily have to
Are we
be
at
the
time?
best
Yes.
candidate for the job. Because if you gel well with the person and they realize you can have a good conversation and they're interested and you have some knowledge on the subject, they're more likely to hire you than someone who is potentially better than you.
Yep.
Because just because someone's better doesn't mean they'll actually get along well with you.
That's exactly right.
And if you have someone who's a pain in the ass, everyone hates you.
It's a matter of fit. And it's a matter of whether or not they want to work with you. Okay, we're out of time almost. We have 2 minutes. What do we take from this? Does anybody have any good questions that we didn't get a chance to ask it because apparently we broke it? I can actually probably just stop generating and then go to the next one, but any questions that are coming up, Aubrey? Ooh, that's a good one. Give me, and you could at least ask for feedback on the cover letter, given those things.
Like, be like, I think this job will hire you.
Right, because that's a personal decision based on company fit and values, just like what Aaron just said. Yeah, Aaron.
The one
That is a
from-
good question though, Aubrey. I love that.
The one from earlier, like if it can tell you what a certain. use it for.
Great. So yeah, using it again as a research tool like Google, but faster and easier and more conversational.
Or
Jack?
you could ask like, what's a business idea based on my experiences that hasn't been created yet?
That is a great entrepreneurial lead. And that is basically, you know,
You know, when
Yep.
you like post on boards, you know, you gotta be like, oh, I
Yep.
got the idea from ChatGPT.
That would intrigue.
I don't think so. I agree. And honestly, there's giant entrepreneurial opportunities in this space, not just as starting businesses, but in being creative in how you go about what you're doing. That's why I want to share it with you. I hope it wasn't does it feel like we're kind of looking at the future in a weird, eerie way? Okay, well, yeah, yeah. Okay, you don't have anything due on Monday. So enjoy that. But you might find an internship or a job you want to apply for. If you can't and you know you're going to grad school, we're going to do a little unit on how to get into grad school as well. So you might choose a school you're interested in applying to. Thank you. Bye now.
Time to choose the job or grad school instead for it.
You could for this assignment.
Good.
See you, Paige.
Yeah.
Write down one, so.